Good morning. I'm Lacey Shippey on the Rural Radio Network, and it's time to take a look at the midday livestock trade with livestock market analyst Kyle Bumsted. And we've got another shortened week of trading here. Kyle, what do you expect to see?
Well, that's a good question, Lacey. Earlier this morning on Monday, we saw these March feeders on up to that 344.12 area, kind of getting up into some resistance there. We're back to 342.72. We took out last week's highs, and now we're getting back down into last week's range. February live cattle, sort of the same thing here. We got up to that 231 area. Now we're back to 229.60. So just a lot of choppy sideways trade here as we round out the last shortened trading session week of the year, last week of the year period. Did see the index is going to be up here later when the Merck updates it, up around $6.68 at 356. That's not a typo. 858 head going to that index, and the daily average is 335.49. So definitely going to be some swinging numbers there as far as that index goes, because we just got lack of numbers here, like I mentioned last week. Now, we are seeing some of the bigger sales in the Southern Plains right now. There's a big one in Southeast Missouri going on right now, and they are substantially higher here. So wouldn't be surprised that index does make another jump higher here maybe tomorrow, but again, later on this week, the volume there is going to be dropping off. We're getting kind of down there. We've got about 30 days left for these January and the cash to come together. So another big item we're going to be watching for here is cash trade this week. Going to be seeing what the Packers are out there kind of bidding. I guess we got a full kill week here for next week, so that's kind of on everybody's mind here is what the Packers are going to do. But I think it's going to be kind of tough for them to let go of some of that margin they've recently gained back here. It's going to be tough for them to be, I think the Packers are going to try to play hardball this week, the way it sounds. Box beef going to be watching that as well, too. If we can kind of hold some of these support areas here, I do look for us to maybe see some, quick ship business here right after the first of the year, potentially restocking here after the holidays, then kind of see where we go from there, Lacey.
Well, thank you, Kyle. That is livestock market analyst Kyle Bumsted with a look at our midday livestock trade here on the Rural Radio Network.
When First Dakota National Bank created Dakota Mac in 1993, we knew we could offer ag producers something few other banks dared to: long-term, fixed-rate loans for ag real estate refinances and purchases. Today, we go by Landera, and we provide the same great service and even more banking options to help your operation thrive for generations to come. Banking evolves. Trust endures. Landera, a division of First Dakota National Bank.
Deciding on a college with your high school senior can be a little overwhelming for parents. But applying for money to pay for it is simple. FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, is now easier than ever with fewer questions and faster fill-out times. If you have a high school senior, now is the time to apply for thousands of dollars for classes, books, and housing. Get started, Nebraska, at dothefafsa.org. Sponsored by Education Quest Foundation. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome back to the Rural Radio Network for a check of your markets. We're seeing broad weakness across the grain markets today with some technical pressure and heavy influence from outside markets. Gold and silver have both plummeted, with gold off $200 today. On the weekly export report, corn inspections remain solid at 1.3 million metric tons, keeping year-to-date pace at 166%. We should also see an ethanol production report, which is expected to show strong numbers once again, although we are entering into a slow time for production. Soybeans saw 100,000 metric tons sold to Egypt this morning, with weekly export inspections continuing to lag at just over 750,300 metric tons, keeping yearly pace at 54%. And weather for the plains looks to warm back up after the cold shot this weekend, with better moisture expected for the second week. Wheat inspections last week were okay, keeping pace at 122%. March corn is down 6.5 at 443.5. May down 6.25 at 452. January soybeans down 9.25 at 1049.5. March down 9 at 1063.5. Chicago March wheat down 3.5 at 515.5. May down 3 at 527.75. Kansas City March wheat down 3 3/4 at 529 3/4. May down 3 1/4 at 542 3/4. February live cattle are down 60 cents at 229.05. April down 40 at 229.35. January feeders are up 127 at 347.45. March up 157 at 342. February lean hogs are unchanged at 84.52. April up 20 at 89.67. And class 3 milk for January is up 2 pennies at 15.31. That's a look at your markets. You're listening to the